Welcome back. In this video, we basically want to achieve what you can see here. So we have this Google Maps composable, and I want to have a button underneath. So this set location. So basically once we have selected something on the map, which we currently cannot do, but once we have done that, we can set the location and that will be it. So inside of our location selection screen composable, underneath here, I'm going to go ahead and create a column because I want to have the Google map, and then underneath I want to have the button. So what are the modifiers that I'm going to use here? I'm just going to say fill max size. So modifier will be modifier.fill, and I need to write it correctly. Modifier.fill max size, like so. Now inside of this column, as I said, I want to have the Google map. As you can see now, this composable is made available to us. It's this Google map. All right. Now I can pass on some modifiers, so I even have to. And then I have the button. Okay, I want to have an on-click event for my button. I need to import button here for this to work. And I'm going to use the composable button. Let me make sure I have that composable button. Okay, and now that button will have an on-click event, which currently I'm just going to say do nothing. And then the button needs to have a content or a text. So let's import text here as well, the composable text, and the text will be set location. Okay, so that's what the button should say. Now that's the boring part because we've done that multiple times already. But what is the interesting part? And well, that's basically this Google Maps part and what happens once we click on the button. So the Google Map, I'm going to add a modifier here as well. So modifier dot, and there's this concept called weight. So what weight does is it basically sets the size of the element in proportion relative to other weighted sibling elements inside of that column. So basically we're saying, hey, you have a lot of weight, so you're going to be very important. You're going to take a lot of space on the screen. So that's what this weight does. We're going to set that to 1F, and we're going to get a padding of, let's say, top being 16 density pixels. Now we need to import DP for that. Okay, and that will be our modifier. On top of that, I'm going to set up the camera position state, which is going to take our camera position state that we set up earlier. The Google Map has this camera position state. Let me actually make sure that I'm using the right import here. So I imported Google Map, but not the right one. Let me hover over it here, import, and I want to use the compose version. So the composable Google Map. I want to actually display something. So now you see the error disappears. So there is this Google Map, this other thing, but then the Google Map that I want to use is actually a composable. So that has a modifier and that has a camera position state. So these are the properties that I am overwriting. So I'm saying, hey, I want to set the camera position state to be my camera position state, which will basically take the position of where we are. Okay, so the location of the user. So now there is this other thing that we can add here, which is the on-map click. So there is this on-map click event and on long click event. So there are different things that you can do. For example, if you click for a long time, you could do something else with the map. So I'm just going to say, hey, once you click on the map, do something. So in my case, I'm just going to set the user location to be that value. So basically saying the user location, which is this remember variable, this mutable state of latitude and longitude, I'm just saying, hey, whatever we clicked on, that will be the new user location. So it will not be the actual location of the GPS or something, but it will be whatever the user clicked on. That will be the new user location. And you could say shopping item location or something like that, but I'm just going to keep it with user location. So this once we click on the map, you see it gives us a let long item. Let long which is this class you see here. We used it before. And our user location is of type lat long. So that's what this mutable state of is. So a latitude and longitude object. And we're getting a lat long, so we can just say, hey, assign the value of our user location to be the lat long that you get from clicking on the map at a particular point. Now, there is this other thing that can go inside of Google Map. So inside of this Google Map composable, which is this pop-up that will appear, we can set a marker. Okay, and the marker is just this little dot that you can see on Google Maps. So the position that you click on, for example. So let me just show you. Okay, this little marker here, there's a red dot. So that's the dot that I want to have here. So I'm setting the marker, and this marker has a state, which will be a, let me import marker first so that it helps me. So I want to use the compose version again. So the state will be marker state with a position of user location dot value. So this marker state just needs to know where it is, and it just needs to know where it is as a latitude and longitude. All right, that's the cool thing. So it doesn't care about anything else. That's the insane part. It's just so simple. It's really just, okay, what is my latitude and longitude? I'm going to set my marker to be there. Now, what I want to do is, once I click on the button, so this button here, set location, this button here at the bottom, I want my location, my new location, to be wherever I clicked on the map. So whatever the location of the user location is. So I'm going to say var, and I'm going to put that outside of the button up here, var new location will be of type location data. And once I click on the button, I will set the new location to be location data, and I get that from the user location value dot latitude and user location dot value dot latitude, as well as the user location dot value dot longitude. Okay, so the location data here just needs a latitude and a longitude, right? And we're just passing that. And where do we get that from? We get that from the user location, which is our remember variable that we are overriding or overwriting whenever we click on the map, because the user location is overwritten here. The state is changed at that point. The value is changed. So we're taking that value, and now we're taking the latitude and its longitude, and we're passing that to our location data class, creating an object of it and storing that inside of this new location. Okay, now new location is also something that I want to set as the on location selected new location. So what is this on location selected? That is our location selection screen event. So inside of this on location selection screen, we said there is this event called on location selected, and we need to pass location data to it, and then we can say whatever we want to run. So now we're passing the new location to be the location selected data. So now basically whenever we are using this composable, we can say what we want to do with that location data that we're getting. So for example, we can store it, we can convert that into a different format or something like that, where it's actually readable, where it's not a latitude and longitude, but actually there is an address that we selected. So basically, when we want to add an item to our list, we can select where that item is purchasable. We click on that thing, and that gives us the latitude and longitude. But what we want is the actual address of that location instead of latitude and longitude. And therefore, we need to pass that information onto the main activity or the main screen, so to speak, which then can go ahead and do the logic of converting that piece into something workable. Okay, and that is it for this video. In the next one, we're going to set up more about that. Okay, because before we can properly work with it, we are going to set up our view model. All right, so see you there.